Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, today I am in my kitchen because I have a very interesting video planned. I wanted to do something relevant and interesting. So I was thinking, what is the most relevant thing going on right now? I don't even have to say, but obviously the coronavirus pandemic. So it got me thinking, like, when was the last time that something this huge happened? A pandemic like this. It made me think of the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. And people were quarantined in their houses, wearing masks, going out to get groceries. But another interesting factor on top of that was that it was, the end of World War I, so war rations were still a thing. So I was thinking, what did people eat back then? Obviously, food and cuisine and everything was very different back then anyway, but I did some research and there were a couple rules that everybody had to follow because they were still sending most of their good supplies to, their soldiers in the war. So I thought I would find some recipes from 1918, during the tail end of the war and the very beginning of the Spanish flu, and try them. So some of the rules that they had to follow were observe 2 wheatless days per week, which is already perfect for me because I can't eat wheat anyway, as I have celiac. Save sugar every day. So a lot of these recipes either use honey or some other sugar substitute like molasses. Eat no meat on Tuesday. I have a meatless recipe we're gonna try. Keep Saturdays porkless and make every day a fat saving day. So instead of butter, they'd be using margarine or shortening and trying to use as little of that as possible. So the 3 recipes that I was thinking about trying are a hot toddy, because whiskey was a super common remedy for the flu back then. Obviously it wasn't a cure, but doctors were kind of trying to ease the pain of people, kind of on their way out. And I know hot toddies were a favorite for a lot of people in the UK and Ireland. And then we're gonna try a porkless Saturday mock sausage made with beans, which is interesting because I feel like you could carry, if it's good, you can carry that into normal, like, vegetarian, everyday cooking. And we're also going to try a cheese pudding. Pudding as in the British dessert kind of way, and not like the American pudding that comes in a Jell-O cup. So yeah, let's get into it. So I think the obvious first choice is the hot toddy. It's 1 p.m. but so I actually hate Jack Daniels, so I'm a little nervous for that, but we start with some hot water and 1.5 ounces of whiskey, some lemon. I actually really love lemon, so we're in it. Oh my god, it smells so bad. And I'm just gonna drop that in. And then a cinnamon stick. How cute is that? Oh, I forgot, there's honey too. So I'm just gonna try to use up the very last of this. I don't really care if it's too much honey. Does anyone know that video?
We got the honey.
Little ASMR. Garnish with some lemon. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. Okay, I actually kind of like that. Will be considered for future pre-games. So the next recipe I want to start is the cheese pudding because it needs time to completely cool off, and I guess I'll start doing the other one while this one's cooling. So I have 1 egg and I separated the white from the yolk, a cup of milk, 3 cups of cornmeal, some spices, some baking powder, and some cheese. Oh, fan just came on. And I'm using an Irish cheddar just to keep it somewhat authentic. And then we're gonna pour the cornmeal into the boiling water, which actually might be ready. Yeah, and then we have to stir it for like 10 minutes. So it's doing this. I don't know if this is right. This actually looks really bad. Well, we'll see. So whisking it is actually helping a little bit. I'm just trying to like bang out the chunks. Guys, this is actually horrible because it's so gloopy. It keeps bubbling and throwing scalding hot goop into my face and hands. So this is the risk I put myself at for these videos. My second video ever. Alright, so I've been stirring for about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna add some of the other ingredients. The cheese, so I don't get this all over the stove. Go ahead. The milk. And the spices. So this is some paprika and salt and cayenne. In some of these older recipes I've found, they don't give like exact measurements or oven temperatures or anything, so it could just say put it in the oven on moderate heat, which like I have no idea what that means. I'm gonna stir this until it's combined and then take it off the heat and let it cool down completely, and then we can start our mock sausages. Forgot to mention the egg yolk. That goes in there too. I kind of want to taste it. It kind of tastes like a cheddar soup, like a corn chowder or something. Better than I expected. I don't even know if I'm in the frame, but I forgot to put my little apron on, so obviously I have to do that. Okay, so the next thing that we're making is the Porkless Saturday mock sausages from our Victory Recipes cookbook. It calls for a cup of lima beans, soaked and boiled till they're very soft. We don't have lima beans, so I'm using red kidney beans. I feel like everybody has those, so that's what I'm using. And we need a cup of them. There we go. In terms of the spices, there were some weird things that I didn't have, or this one weird thing called marjoram. And it's like in the same family as oregano and mint and thyme, like those kinds of things. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of oregano. I think it's not as strong as oregano, so I won't use as much. 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, ground sage, and thyme. And salt and pepper. Okay, so now we have to mash these. I'm gonna use a pastry masher. Wow, these are very soft. I gotta say, it doesn't look very good, but don't knock it till you try it. So this is the result so far. Doesn't look great, but now we have to roll them into, they say sausage-like rolls the size of a finger. I don't like the way that was phrased, but it's in the Liberty cookbook, so I trust it. And then we'll roll them in flour and pan fry them in vegetable oil. We'll see. Guys, I did a bad thing. Look at these. Oh my god. I can only hope that someone with the Spanish flu did not have to look at these before they were cooked. The mixture was very, very wet. I can only hope that they look better when they're cooked, but I can only see this getting worse. Oh man. So I think I can confidently say that I have never made anything so unappealing looking in my life. Just take a look at these. I mean, honestly, they smell kind of good, but they really look horrible. That's not a sausage. That's a floury bean, you know. So while these are still warm, I'm going to try one. One of my biggest pet peeves is when YouTubers making food will like make everything and then try it all at once at the end, because by then all the stuff that you made in the beginning is cold. So let's just, here, ready? To be honest, it does kind of look like a little breakfast sausage, you know? It pretty much just tastes like what it is. It's a red kidney bean fritter, basically. I don't know, the spices aren't that strong, it's not super flavorful, but you know what? We're talking about 1900s Great Britain, so they already get slack for their lack of seasoning. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good at all. So that is our porkless Saturday mock sausage. Don't make it at home. I don't want you to. Alright, so my cheese cornmeal sludge situation has pretty much cooled down, and so I'm going to add in the beaten egg whites and baking powder. It didn't tell me how much to beat the egg whites, so I kind of just made it a little fluffy and bubbly and hope that they don't mean like stiff peaks or anything. So just gonna fold these in. That was a little runny. And just gonna kind of hope that this is fine. So it told me to bake in a moderate oven temp. I don't know what that means, so I made it like 325, and I'm just hoping that that makes sense. Is that a moderate temperature? I don't know, this cookbook is very vague. While I am waiting for my cheese pudding to be done and enjoying the rest of my room temp toddy, I figured I would tell you guys a little about myself. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know me, so I guess you can skip through this. So yeah, obviously my name is Kat, and I live on Long Island, out on the East End in New York. I graduated from college, actually almost a year ago, and yeah, I've been job searching and trying to kind of get my foot in the door in the book publishing industry. It's obviously very competitive, and I'm just working on that still, so it'll take a little while, but I am confident that, you know, I'll find my way in there somehow. Yeah, I mean, I love to cook, and that's one thing that has kind of been getting me through the lock-in quarantine, you know, social distancing thing. I like to try a lot of recipes. I'm obsessed with Bon Appetit, Food and Wine, any sort of media that involves cooking, I love. I have a dog here. Her name is Piper, but we call her Little Trash. This is her. She's a fan favorite. I'm not gonna put her on the counter actually, because that's gross. But yeah, this is her. She's a little trashy girl. What else can I tell them? What else can I say? Yeah, I might do like a get to know me video in the future, but I don't really know if anybody wants to see that, so maybe I won't. I'm more interested in doing, you know, fun, weird stuff that's stupid. I have some acrylic nails that I want to use for something. I need video ideas, so please send them to me. Chances are I'll do it. Okay, so the cheese pudding has been in there like a lot longer than it said it was gonna be in there, and I think it's because I didn't put the oven temperature high enough, but that's because the recipe didn't tell me what temperature to put the oven. It just said a moderate temperature, so I didn't want to go too crazy. But then once it like wasn't really setting, I raised it a little bit, and it's still like a little bit jiggly. but I think once it cools down a little, it should set. It smells really good. Like, it smells like mac and cheese or something. Once that cools, we can slice her open and dry her. Alright, so I am now going to try the cheese pudding. I have to say, it looks a lot like how it looked before I put it in the oven. It is not super cooked. It's kind of sliding around on the plate. But I tried to pick a pretty cooked piece. I'm gonna use a spoon to eat it. I hope it's fine. It tastes like mac and cheese, but like the texture is pretty bad. It kind of has like a little kick from the cayenne, but in terms of texture, it's kind of a lumpy goop with like a harder top. So not really the best mouthfeel. Let me try one of these like crispier outer bits. It tastes great. I am just wondering why it didn't like set. Maybe when it cools, it'll become more solid. Like if I put it in the fridge, because they said if you cool it completely, you can slice it and fry it up for like supper. But I really can't see this turning into like a bread or anything. So, right. I guess the conclusion of this video is that the foods that people were eating in 1918 during the Spanish flu were probably, I mean, maybe by their standard they were good, but as of today, right now, I would say they were probably subpar. And I feel kind of bad for the people who had the Spanish flu, and this is what they were eating maybe. You know what though? It was war rations, and it got better. It got better after that, and then it got worse again, so this kind of just made me sad. But yeah, I hope that you guys liked watching me try these things, and hope you're all staying safe and healthy and indoors. Please let me know what you want me to do next. I can cook things, I can do more makeup tutorials, I can make weird crafts. Just let me know. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.